She shot to stardom with Wilson Phillips, but not even fame could keep her from becoming dangerously obese. Then, a miracle.
Please welcome the new Carnie Wilson.
Hear her incredible story.
It started to get hard to walk. My blood pressure was going up. My cholesterol was going up. My body was falling apart. And all of a sudden, I'd wake up and I'd be like...
And witness the life-saving surgical procedure that was shown live on the internet.
You're going to save people's lives. That's why I went public with it.
Carnie Wilson.
Don't go away. That's coming up right now on Montel.
Welcome, and thank you so much for joining us today. You know, my guest today is best known for her work as a singer and a songwriter, but in the last 2 years, she's become an inspiration to millions of Americans and people all over this world by undergoing a life-changing transformation. I want you to take a look at this. Carnie Wilson has spent most of her life in the spotlight. Daughter of Beach Boy Brian Wilson, Carnie shot to stardom herself with the trio Wilson Phillips. But selling 13 million records was just the beginning. Carnie's popularity landed her a job as host of her own syndicated talk show. But as Carnie gained popularity, she also gained more and more weight, a problem that plagued her since her childhood.
I think I had a really good childhood. You know, I came from a musical family. There was a lot of music playing, and that was one of the consistent positive things. But another thing that was consistent was food. I loved macaroni and cheese and, you know, green beans with the casserole and those French fried onions. And, oh, God. I would go and look for, like, Twinkies and anything with sugar. And I remember sitting on the floor eating cake mix, you know, just the powder. As I got heavier and heavier, and it was hard for me emotionally because I was teased. It was traumatizing. I mean, they would, be like, Fatso, why are you so fat? Fatty, fatty, you know. I was with Wilson Phillips, and we did 9 music videos. It was hard because every time we did a video, I was heavier. So every time we did it, it was more of a struggle and more of an issue to cover me up. And it really made me mad. But as I got heavier and heavier, and especially for the second album, that is when the torture came in. I was wearing corsets, and it was like sucking me in, and I had like cuts. You know, and I remember one day specifically in my kitchen trying to get this thing off my waist. I couldn't get it off.
All of a sudden she was around 300 pounds. She's been at that weight for a long time. And one day, about a year ago, I said, Carnie, you've got to go on a diet. I had tears in my eyes. I said, please, for me.
I've tried dieting my whole life. It has not worked. I'm getting heavier. Regardless of why, I am. I went through a process considering this surgery. In a way, I still am. I mean, I'm going to do it, and I want to do it. But I still have fears. You know, it's like God gave you your body and the way it's made, and then I'm going to be altering it. And that is weird, but it works, and it's safe. So this is the next step, and this is the beginning. You know, it's going to open up so many things for me.
If you really want to understand what the embodiment of inspiration is, I'm telling you, this guest is exactly what it is. Please welcome, I'll do it this way, the new Carnie Wilson to the show. And I said it that way, the new, you should have, I looked around and just caught a couple faces and then people were like this about.
I know. No, how about that's what I do when I look in the mirror now? I'm like, I can't, is that me? You know. Is
it really what you do? Let's talk about this for a second. This was a tough decision.
Yeah.
That you had to make.
That was tough to watch.
Was it?
Yeah.
Have you reached that point where you look and you don't remember, that person doesn't seem like it's you, or do you know that's still you?
It's weird. It's like, it's still me inside. I'm still the same person. But when I look at that and I see myself, I'm wobbling. I'm thinking they're, you know, I mean, I look at my stomach.
Please welcome Dr. Shawn Garber to the show. And I said that you were the doctor that performed the surgery, but you have studied with the doctor that performed the surgery. So why don't you tell us what this surgery is? There's a lot of people at home right now wondering, what are they talking about? Okay, what is it?
Laparoscopic gastric bypass surgery is a surgery where we put 6 very tiny incisions in the patient's abdomen, in the belly, and we put a camera inside the belly, and we do the operation actually on a TV screen. What we do is the first part of the operation, we divide the stomach to make a small stomach pouch about the size of 1 ounce, about the size of an egg.
About the size of an egg?
Mine was the size of the thumb.
But the whole stomach becomes this size?
Correct.
Okay.
Then we divide the small intestines lower down. We hook up a piece of small intestine to this new stomach pouch.
Okay.
We then hook in the other part of the stomach, stays in the body, still produces digestive enzymes, comes down and hooks back in lower down in the intestines. And
so wait, what do you do with the part of the intestine that you bypass? Do you take it out or you leave it in?
No, everything stays in the belly. We just bypass a certain segment of it. And the operation works for 3 reasons. First is we have a very small stomach pouch, for the patient feels very full very quickly, and they can't eat too much. As Carnie said, she eats a few bites and she feels full.
At first.
At first.
Right.
Over time, the pouch stretches out and gets a little larger.
Right.
The second reason the operation works is if you eat sweets, you get dumping syndrome, which Carnie explained as well. And that's a bonus, and then we like that idea, and that helps people avoid eating sweets after surgery, because that's a big problem with people obese.
That dumping syndrome is from your body creating extra insulin?
It's from the food passing very quickly through that bypassed piece of intestine.
Right.
Okay.
And they get the crampy abdominal pain and flushed, and they feel very, very uncomfortable. And most patients are going to avoid eating sweets afterwards, which is a great bonus for the surgery, because most people, that's the big problem before the surgery.
Okay.
The third reason it works is we're bypassing a couple of feet of small intestines. So therefore, those couple of feet of small intestines, you don't absorb the calories from the food. There's some malabsorption, and that helps the patients lose weight as well.
And I want to say that this is a malabsorptive surgery, so I'm not absorbing as much fat, but I'm also not absorbing as many nutrients and vitamins, and that's why I need to supplement.
Correct.
And take the supplements. So now, over time, will this, I mean, if that stomach keeps stretching, is there a problem? I want to talk about whatever the difficulties could be in case somebody's tuning in and we've only talked about the positive side.
Sure. But the bottom line is the operation is not a cure for obesity. This is the best aid available to help stop obesity. And there are failures to these surgeries. There's about a 10 to 20% failure rate. And those are patients that don't follow up closely, don't follow up with support groups, don't take their vitamins, don't see the doctors on a regular basis, and they get into bad habits. And you can eventually stretch the pouch out too big and make the operation fail. So it's very, very important that the patients follow very closely afterwards for the rest of their lives.
Absolutely.
Like Carnie said, all the patients sign a contract with me, and they're going to follow up with me for the rest of their life after surgery.
And that's something, though, that I think, again, not only have you come forward, you've shared this with everybody, but you continue to share this.
Yes.
Carnie is part of support groups. Sure. You actually meet with, chat with, and talk with people.
Yes, I do. Every day. Every day there's someone I'm talking with and sharing our experiences with. It's very important to be vocal about this. We shouldn't be ashamed that we are obese or have a disease. We should not be ashamed. It's the last accepted prejudice in this country, and it sucks. And it shouldn't be that way. People shouldn't be treated differently, but we need to take care of our health. And I'm not saying that you need to go out and get this surgery if you're 100 pounds overweight. I'm saying do something about your health. If you can't do it, if you tried everything, this is a great alternative.
And doctor, that's also a requirement that most surgeons have before they even will allow a person to undergo this, correct? They have had to have exhausted all other...
Exactly. The patients have to be at least 100 pounds overweight to be a candidate, and they have to have tried just about every diet out there, have tried doctor-supervised diets, have just exhausted every other means, and now it's starting to affect their health, and then that's when surgery is a great option for patients.
Let's take a break. We'll be back right after this.